Hello, my name is James White. I'm a realtor with M1 Realty Inc. And I'm here today to talk about the market. The market as of today. Today is what? February 27th, 2023. Today, we have buyers and sellers looking to buy and sell property. There are many buyers sitting on the sidelines waiting on a crash. We're not going to have a crash. The prices may reduce somewhat. But at this particular moment, I will give you an example. I have listings that have been listed over the winter. Right now, the 6 listings that I had listed are under contract except for one. And I have 2 interested buyers. Right now, we are at a point where we would typically be in a typical year. Over the past 3 years, roughly, the market didn't slow down much over the winter. This year, it did. Right toward the end of January, things started picking up. It started picking up, I could definitely tell, because I started getting a lot of interest in the properties that I have listed. Right now, we are what's generally the season for buyers. Nobody really wants to move in the wintertime when it's all messy outside and cold. People generally do that in the spring, in the summer, even toward the fall. But in the winter, sales start to taper down a little bit, a lot of it. But right now, if you are in the market, now is the time to buy. A lot of people are deterred by the interest rates as well. But I'm here to tell you, don't be discouraged by the interest rates. What people don't want to realize is that the interest rates at 6.5% are not bad. They're actually lower than the average. A lot of buyers now are new to the market. If you've been around any amount of time, you'll remember a time when interest rates got down to 6.5% and everybody was ecstatic. They couldn't believe it. At this time, I purchased the property myself, but I didn't have the credit score to get the 6.5%. And I bought at 8.5% with an adjustable rate mortgage. It's not that big of a deal. If interest rates did go lower, then you can always refinance. You rarely hear about early termination fees these days. Even if you did, it would be you finance it for a year, and then after the year, you can refinance it or sell it, and then without any type of penalty. But here's what you have to understand: the banks are businesses. The banks are in business to sell money. So when they give you the money for a house or a property, they make their money off of the interest. Now, one thing about banks is you do have have some that are online banks, but generally banks are brick and mortar buildings, which require actual money. They have operating expenses. The banks have to pay employees. The banks can't give you money for free and stay in business. At 2 and 3%, banks are barely staying afloat. So it's not realistic to believe that a bank is going to continue to or even go back to 2 and 3% interest rates. If they did and you bought a house, you could always refinance. If the rate goes up, you'll be glad that you got in at 6.5% because rates have went as high as 18.5%. Now is a great time to buy. Now is a great time to buy because sellers are tending to be a little flexible because the market isn't the way it was when interest rates were 2 and 3%. Everybody was trying to buy. You couldn't even get an offer accepted for what they asked for it in a lot of places. You'll have to go more appraisal guarantees, escalation clauses. Like it's that's not what's happening right now. And you can actually a lot of times get concessions to where the seller will pay money towards your closing costs. You can get them to go down on the price. Sometimes people put too much emphasis on the price because if you say the difference between there may be $5,000 difference, and then your note is like $5 or $6 more a month, but you're letting that $5,000 on the purchase price deter you from accepting the offer or coming to an agreement with the seller between the seller and the buyer. Just some things are so insignificant and they prevent people from actually receiving the blessing that's right there in front of them. Sometimes you have to sit back and look at the big picture. Now, speaking of big picture, you have interest rates and purchase prices and all of this. So what happens is that the market, which is determined by the demand, fluctuates. You'll have a property which the market will determine that this property is worth X amount of dollars. This property value may go up or it may go down, and it will. It's gonna go up and down over a period of time. But from the bigger picture perspective, what I'm saying is that if you are comfortable with your monthly payment and comfortable with the property, if you can leave the streets and the elements and be warm and cozy in your own home, if you are comfortable with what you're paying a month, what difference does it make what the market says the value of your house is? As long as you're comfortable. Because the market is going to say that it's less at some point, and it's going to say that it's more at some point. And the only way that that matters is if you're trying to sell it. If you're not intending on selling, then it doesn't matter what the market or anybody else thinks is worth, as long as it's doing what it needs to do for you. If you want to come home and stay warm and dry, if you want to cook a meal and sit and eat, if you want to have company, if you don't want to have company, whatever it is, as long as your property is doing what you were paying for it to do. Because at the end of the day, if you're buying it, you're going to get to a point to where you won't have a monthly payment anymore. You'll have to keep up the upkeep and pay the taxes, and that'll be it. If you're renting, however, and you're complaining about an interest rate, and you're complaining about a price, you're always going to have to pay whatever a property owner determines that you'll have to pay to stay in their property, and you'll never accumulate interest, and you'll never not have to pay the monthly payment. Sometimes, in temporary situations, renting might be better. But me personally, I think not that what I think matters, because everybody's different. But if you have children or loved ones and you want to leave something to show for your existence, a property is one of the main things that you can do to make sure that you are stable as well as generations to come. So between the property values, the interest rates, and stability, I recommend you buy. And right now is a great time to buy. Again, my name is James White. I'm a realtor with M1 Realty Inc. I'm the CEO of Common Folk Property Maintenance LLC and Practical Transit LLC. If I can be of service to you, feel free to reach out at 248-891-3876. In the meantime, have a blessed day.